Yo, what's going on, guys? It's me, Austin Feltron here, back with another video. One that I doubt many of you ever expected to see on this channel. Likely because I'm usually showing off a more devious side of myself. One that likes to partake in chicanery and tomfoolery more than academics. But I do indeed have an academic side, which I will be showing you guys today. I'm a junior in high school currently, and I recently got a perfect score in the ACT of a 36. And so today I thought I would show you guys some tips to help you guys do the same, because it really is not that hard. It's all about strategy, to be honest. I know there's a lot of videos like this out there on YouTube, but I promise mine's different because I took the test this year. I actually did get a 36. A lot of these guys making videos, they did the test in 1974 and they got a 34. So they're really just a bunch of grifters, fakers. I'm the real deal. I have the tips that'll help you today that are relevant. And I promise if you take what I say into consideration, you won't have to study for hours on end. I didn't study at all, but you will be able to improve your score. Even if you don't get up to a complete 36, you will be able to earn some more scholarship money. You will be able to have a better resume going forward. I'm gonna go through section by section how to get a perfect score. We're gonna start with the English section because it's first. The first thing I want to say for the English section is it's the one that's most dependent on your speed. There's no time for second guessing. You have to be able to look at a question and you have to be able to answer it right off the bat. No second guessing yourself. If you get one or two questions wrong, you can still get a 36, so it's fine if you make a couple dumb mistakes even. You don't need to go back and check your answers until you finish every single question, and that's all you have left to do. Also for the English section, do not read the stories they give you, just read where it's asking you the question, read the context around it if you have to, but you want to do the bare minimum reading as possible. There's a whole other section called the reading section, so you want to save your reading for that part. For the English section, you're just going to want to know your grammar rules, know how sentences are structured, and a good way to do that is to learn a second language. So I don't think I would have gotten a 36 in the English section until I took Spanish classes at my high school. I've taken Spanish 1, 2, 3, and 4. I was at least through Spanish 3 when I got my 36. And knowing Spanish helped me tremendously because they don't actually teach you basic grammar rules in elementary school, middle school regarding the English language because they assume you already know all of them just because you were raised knowing the English language. Stuff like subject-verb agreement, for example. I mean, if you haven't taken a foreign language class, you probably won't even know what that means, but if you've taken Spanish, you'll immediately know, oh, I have, he has, you have, how the verb conjugates based on which subject is carrying out the action. So that helps a lot in the English section, just in your general knowledge of how languages are structured and what you should be looking for regarding mistakes in the text. The next section is the math section. Now, I feel like I had kind of an unfair advantage going into the ACT for the math section because I'd taken calculus at high school already. Most juniors have not done that. And basically, my general math skills were very high already. So that's the number one thing I can recommend is just take the highest math classes offered at your high school, just so you don't even have to type things into your calculator or think about it really hard, do a lot of mental math. You should be able to just see things and know exactly what procedure you should follow in order to get a correct answer on a math question. Yeah, you need to be pretty fast on this one as well, but not as fast as on the English section. You can take your time on some problems if you're stuck on one. Also, even if you don't have to use your calculator for every single problem, if you already have high math acumen, you should not be afraid of it because there's a lot of questions, particularly the ones involving statistics, where you should be able to just plug and chug numbers into your calculator and get a quicker answer than you would by writing anything out. You should not be writing out any arithmetic on your ACT packet. You should be doing that all on your calculator. You should be getting the best calculator that is allowed on the ACT, like a TI-84 graphing calculator. You're allowed to use that. You can do matrices in there. You can graph and find intercepts and stuff like that. The next section is the reading section. Now, this is the one I struggled with the most personally before I got the 36. So I took the test 3 times. The first one, I didn't really know what I was doing. The second one, I got a 35. And that was what even let me know I was in the ballpark to get a 36. I didn't even think like it was gonna be possible before that. So after I got the 35, I really focused on my strategy. I reevaluated some things, particularly on the reading section, because that was when I was the worst at. And I came up with a new strategy. So contrary to what many gurus on YouTube are gonna say, you should not read each of the questions before you go and read the passage. You should not read an individual question, then go look for the answer in the passage, go scouring through it. That's not the most time efficient method. They're all wrong. It's called the reading section. You need to read the entire thing. You should read as fast as you can while still completely understanding every facet of each passage. So I just took my time, I read the passage, and I saved time by just answering the questions. The questions in the reading part are going to be very easy because they're banking on you not having a full knowledge of the passage and you struggling to find the correct answer. But if you understand the passage, the correct answers are not hard to find. So that's my main piece of advice for reading, is just take your time reading the passage, go quick answering the questions, and then move on to the next one. The fourth and the final section on the ACT is, of course, the science section. This one's notorious, as you can miss one question and lose 1 to 2 points out of 36 in your score, depending on the curve you have for each individual ACT test. My main piece of advice for the science section would be to look through the smoke and the mirrors. Each question is going to be written with tons of scientific jargon that you're not supposed to understand, but you have to be able to look through all that, understanding what the question is truly asking you. And if you're an expert and you understand the question, you should be able to rewrite it in a way that a 5th grader would understand on a basic level. So you have to be able to use logic, and you have to be able to reason through it to find out what information you really need to look for. It's usually not too hard to find in a graph. The main difficult part is to find out what you're supposed to be looking for. And I feel like the science test is more of a test of logic than actual science. That's just my opinion. Again, guys, I'm going to reiterate what I said at the beginning of the video. You do not need to buy a $600 course. That is completely unnecessary. I did not study hardly at all. I did 1 or 2 practice tests for individual sections, like an English section, a reading section, once or twice, months before I even got a 36. It is not necessary to pay any money to do well on this test. You just need to have a good strategy. You need to be focused, you need to be awake, get a good night's sleep, drink some coffee before you go into the testing center. If you do insist on studying, then, like I said, I did a couple of practice tests, but the main thing you can do is to take the ACT multiple times. It's not like taking it multiple times reflects badly on you in like a college application or something. So take it as many times as you want to get a score that gets you in the scholarship bracket you're wanting. The last thing I'll say here before I sign off is that if you watch this whole video and you don't take any of my advice into account, you've got a major skill issue, buddy. You got no chance. You're never getting a 36. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, share with your friends, especially if they've got their own skill issues they could fix, because this video, I promise it will help. And guys, just take my advice. Do what I tell you to. That's all from me. Peace out.